Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. So I've logged the first 100 miles, actually 137, in my brand new 2025 Toyota Tacoma. For those of you that didn't know, I recently traded in my 2024, which is a 4th gen TRD Sport, for this truck. I've had it really for a couple weeks, something like that. Yeah, I know there's not a ton of miles on it, right? But so far, there's been just a couple of little pet peeve things, I guess, with this truck. And one of them is the same as the other truck. We'll get to that in just a minute. I've been doing a couple of mods here or there. I did the HomeLink, or my version of HomeLink anyway. I'll snap a couple pictures here. You guys can see what it looks like. Now, I will leave a video link down below if you want to check it out. It's the same installation, basically. I mean, I changed a little bit as far as how I'm storing the transmitters, I guess, under the hood. But everything else is generally the same idea. So I'm not going to post up a whole new video. It's already out there. But if you want to see how I did it, I'll post a video or two down below. I've done it a couple of different ways. And then I also ran some wires through the firewall. I will say, when I first looked, I didn't see any way to do it other than poking through the big grommet that's under there, right? The one that has the wire bundle through it. I think anybody who's ran wire before in the Tacoma knows what I'm talking about. But after I was all done, actually while I was kind of showing you guys how I did it, I noticed a grommet kind of up and to the outside of the truck, and I'm thinking I probably could have used that grommet. Oh well, I just didn't see it before, but it looks to me like it's access. So I would recommend, if you're going to do it, using that if you can. I assume you wouldn't be able to if you have a manual. I think it's used for something in a manual transmission, but most people buy automatics, so it's there for you if you want to use it. So part of running the wiring, of course, was for the HomeLink, and the other part was for the aux beam switch controller, which what I've done so far is I mounted the controller unit, which I'll show you right here, and run the wire into the engine bay through the same hole that I ran the wiring for the HomeLink system, I guess, that I set up. I thought it'd be good to do that all at the same time. I mean, if you're running wire, why not run it all? And honestly, because I use the aux beam system to control other electronic devices, I should never have to run another wire through the firewall again, because everything else is done under the hood. And I highly recommend checking out some kind of a switch, whether it's aux beam or one of the many other ones that are out there. Because if you're going to run other electrical accessories, mine I can run 2, 4, 6, 8 actually. So I can run all of them off of the switch that I installed, and you don't have a rat's nest of wires and things coming into your truck. I like the approach. It's always been spot on for me. I've never had any troubles with the system. It always works exactly the way it's supposed to. And kind of as a bonus with the aux beam, and I'm sure again the others do this as well, but you have Bluetooth control of it with your phone. So I can use my phone to operate it if I want to, as well as change some of the colors of the buttons on it and stuff like that, which I think is pretty handy if you don't want to actually use the control pad itself. Technically, you could just hide that control panel somewhere underneath the front part of the truck or whatever, and access everything through the Bluetooth system. So you really wouldn't even need to mount it in here. Although for me, I kind of dig the looks of it, right? I like the aesthetics of it. So I mounted mine. As you can see, I think it's pretty cool. Now, my overall impression of the truck so far, I mean, granted, I did have the Sport, which really the only difference that you can see, I think, primarily other than the badging, which I typically take off, is the hood scoop. Still, I like the hood scoop, but I think having the hood scoop is what led to the flimsiness of the hood. The hood kind of bounced around, and I think it's because of that hood scoop, because in this truck, I'm I'm looking at it right now, and if there's any movement at all, it is minor. It definitely does not move around like the other truck did. So if that's something that bothers you, you might want to go with the TRD off-road. Suspension-wise, I've talked about this before too. The TRD off-road is a little bit softer, I guess, and by design. You know, Toyota says that it's tuned for off-road use, and I believe that that's true. I did notice that the Sport was a firmer ride, as you would expect. I mean, if you're going to call the truck a Sport, you're going to have it more set up, and I know it's not, but more set up like a sports car, right? And if you've ever driven a sports car, then you know every one of them feels everything in the road because that's how they're set up. So it's not really surprising to me. The stance of the truck otherwise, pretty much the same. I did do a level lift on the front of the truck so that I could run the offset on the wheels and tires, and the wheels, I guess, that I want, which in my case pokes them out a little bit further. I like the look. I know it's not everybody's thing, but and there's different degrees too. I mean, depending on what offset you go with. So me, I like, 2 to 4 inches, something like that. I think mine's closer to the 3-inch mark, something like that. I'll put a picture here. You guys can see what it looks like. But it also kind of gives the truck a fully lifted appearance, if you will. Again, I just did the level lift, so all I did was in the front end. I didn't do anything to the back. You really only need to do anything to the back if you want to keep the truck level and you want to go higher than what a level lift will give you. It kind of depends on what you want to do, I think. Me, I was kind of looking to get that lifted appearance, which I got, have the tire poke, which I got, and still maintain the stock ride, which I think I've gotten. I've never driven this truck, actually, without the lift on the front. I had driven the Sport. So to me, it's the perfect setup, I guess, unless you want to go really high. I could have gone with, I don't know, a 3-inch, and I wouldn't recommend that you go to any more than a 3-inch, maybe 3.5, because when you do that, you really have to change other suspension parts. I know this because I think it was a 3.5 on my 2020 Tacoma, and I had a problem. One of the front arms, if you will, you look under there, the name of it escapes me at the moment. Leave a comment, let me know. But one of those arms that has that kind of ribbed piece on it to keep the grease inside, well, mine was so severe that after going over I think I know when it happened, but after going over a pretty stout bump, I think I tore it. And when I tore it, of course, I lost the oil inside. It was all over the skid plate. Definitely not something that you want to happen. So keep that in mind if you're looking to go to something taller. Anyway, first 100 and some odd miles on this truck. Love it. It's doing great. Really happy with my decision to do what I did. I do have 4-wheel drive by now. And one other thing, with the 4-wheel drive, of course, it's going to be a little bit heavier. I don't notice it. The only thing that I notice really with performance of this truck, other than the firmer or softer, I should say, ride, is there is just the slightest lag at takeoff. I did not notice that in my TRD Sport. I don't know. Maybe it's varies just between models altogether, but just something to note, I guess. It's still way faster and more responsive than the 3rd gen was, for sure. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.